Hi everyone, and welcome to my 25 in 2025 book I don't know what to be called, but 25 books I want to read in 2025. So these are books that I feel like I just need to read by the end of the year. I have not once achieved this goal, but let's hope that this year's different. Well, next year technically, because it's 2024 right now. But yeah, let's get started. So the first two books I have are two in here. It's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I already read The Fellowship of the Ring, and now I need The Two Towers and The Return of the King. They are both pretty hefty books, so don't read out of this. I know I'm going to read the next two books on ebook. I will get them from my library and then I will read them on my Kindle because they're very, very long books, and reading them in this small text, I mean, I already can't see very well. I have glasses, but like, look how tiny that text is. I cannot read with that size text physically, and I also hate the audiobooks because I don't follow along to them very easily, so I just have to forego the audiobooks, forego the physical, and I have to read digitally on my Kindle or on my phone, but the Kindle app. So yeah, I have to use my library for that because I don't want to buy the ebooks and my library has them. So those are the first two books that I want to read. The third book I want to read in 2025 is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is one I have wanted to read for a couple years. I never owned it. I've just wanted to read it like on my Apple Books app because it's for free on there. So next year is the year that I'm going to read my more classics. I'm gonna be more classic heavy in 2025, hopefully, so I can hurry up and read Frankenstein because this is a classic that everyone knows, and I know the premise, but I've never actually read the book, and I've heard it's really, really good. The fourth book I want to read is Dracula by Bram Stoker. The same thing applies with Frankenstein. I want to read more classics, and I don't actually know what happens in Dracula. I love vampires, and I've read like quite a few vampire books. I've watched a ton of vampire movies, but I've never read one of the classic vampire books. So this year is the year I have to do it. The next book I want to read in 2025 is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. This one I've had on my bookshelves for a very long time. My husband read it, loved it, and I just need to hurry up and read it because it's just, I've never read Ray Bradbury, but I really want to. I also have the Martian one, one of the alien ones, like the Martian something book or something the Martian book. But yeah, this is one that I think I really like because I'm a book person, and this follows burning books, and like the government burns books because of knowledge and stuff, and I just need to read this because it's so short too. It is 158 pages, so I can knock this out in like 2 days. So this one is a definite read for next year. The sixth book I want to read is The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame, illustrated by Ernest H. Shepard. I have no idea what this is about. This is about some cute little animals in the willows that talk. I don't really know. The same person that illustrated this did the Winnie the Pooh illustrations. I'm fine with that. I love the Winnie the Pooh books. Hopefully this gives off Winnie the Pooh vibes. I hope I'm not horribly disappointed with like if there's like things they could turn in it, but I'm hoping this is just a cute little book. Okay, so it's just a cute little story because the author used to tell his son these, so I'm really excited to get to this one. I hope this one takes place. Oh, this is a winter one. I should read this during winter. Why does it give me such spring vibes on the cover though? But all the things look very wintry. Another book I really, really, really want to get to because I've only heard great things about it is The Stranger by Albert Camus. Don't know what this is about, don't want to know, going in there completely like unaware of what it's about. I know it's like a psychology book. My cousin gave this to my husband because he was majoring in psychology, and this is like a psychology read for people. And I just really want to get to this one because I want to be enlightened, and yeah, so we gotta get this one. And have you ever seen this cover? Usually you see the one with the black and white cover, but this one's like a completely different cover. I don't know. I like the black and white one better, but this is a good one. And to continue with the classics, because I did the classics first and then I'm gonna go into more modern books, is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Yeah, I don't know what happens in this book. I know one thing that happens, but I don't know who it happens to. So I need to hurry up and read this before I get spoilers for it, because I watched Friends and got the spoiler and have completely blocked it out of my memory. So gotta get to this before I find out the ending to this, because I really don't want to know until, you know, I read it. So now on to the more modern books. I have The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. I read The Lost Story by this author a couple months ago. I think it was August. And I loved it. It wasn't a 5-star, but it was like a 4.5 star. It was like so good. I mean, I just loved the characters. I loved the writing. I loved the world building. And this one was her debut, I think, was The Wishing Game. And I've heard really good things about this one, so I really want to get to this one. And the cover is beautiful, and the back cover has little stars all over it. And I picked this up from Book of the Month in June of last year and haven't read it. So need to hurry up and get to this one. One that I've had for a while. One that I wanted to give away by an author that is so great at marketing, I feel, but her books aren't known well enough because they're indie published, and I feel, I'll tell you what I feel if they should be actually published like usual, like the big brand, but I'm pretty sure they should be because her writing's fantastic, like in what I see. And it's a sci-fi fantasy. It is called Lone Player by Julia Rosemary Turk, and it follows, not really sure what it follows. It follows, I'm pretty sure it's like kind of like a found family, and it's sci-fi fantasy, which I love sci-fi fantasy, and it's just, her marketing is so good. I just feel like, I don't know why I haven't read this book yet, but here is the hardcover naked, and it's so beautiful, like, and here she is. I love her Instagram. I will link her Instagram. Ooh, I'll link her Instagram below so you can check her out. She wrote a sequel to this, and she's in the middle of writing another book. But I haven't read any of her books yet. I have both of her books, but haven't read them yet because big books scare me, and this one has a lot of pages, and it scares me a little bit. But 2025 will be the year I read bigger books. Here's one that I started. I didn't finish it. It was confusing. It was really confusing, and I think it's supposed to be, but I never finished it because I just wasn't in the right mood for it. But that is Bunny by Mona Awad. I got this one years ago, and I just never finished it. I don't even have a bookmark. Oh, I do have a bookmark. I got to chapter 12. As you can see, it was really good, what I read. One that I've had on my TBR for a pretty long time, probably since 21, which isn't a long time for me, but it's a long time for my current books that since I got back into reading, it's a long time because I got back into reading in 21. Well, actually 2020, but 21 was the main time, is The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake. I tried to read The Master's Death, I think that's what it's called, the newest book. Didn't like the writing, so I hope I like the writing in this one. This one, it was really big on Book Talk and BookTube a while ago, so I just hope that I will enjoy this because it just seems so just magical and mysterious. Ooh, I didn't even realize like how pretty this was. Like, look at that. My cat's playing, if you can hear her. I got this at Goodwill for like $2, $3. And it was a steal because it had come out not too long after, but I gotta read this. Like, it looks, I love the cover. It looks so good. Another weird girl book is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. I started this one too, put me in a really bad mental state, so I had to stop reading it, but I'm in a better mental state now than I was a couple years ago. So hopefully I can read this one and not be too upset by it. But this one just follows this woman who feels like she has to sleep for a whole year by taking sleeping pills because like her parents died, I think is what it was. And she just needs, she's like really depressed and she is completely, people hate the main character, but I remember relating to her in a way because depression makes you do weird stuff and it makes you a bad person sometimes, and I feel like we shouldn't hate her so much for going through it because mental illnesses are so stigmatized, and I feel like people hate her. And yeah, she was kind of a rude person, not saying that, but mental illnesses will make you do some crazy things. So the next one is Circe by Madeline Miller. I read Song of Achilles by this author and I really loved it. So since I've had this one for a while, I feel like I should get to it because I love Greek mythology. Don't know anything about it, only like the books that I've read, but I really hope to get to this one because it's one I wanted to read for a while, but I just haven't owned, and now that I own it, I can finally read it. Another one is on my Audible app. So it is Self-Tanner for the Soul by Kat Marnell. I read her book. It's called How to Murder Your Life. It was a memoir that she came out with, which was her debut. I'm pretty sure was her debut. And I read it in like 2019, 2020, and fell in love with this author, fell in love with this person. She was a beauty editor in a magazine. I can't remember what the magazine was called, but she was very big. She had like a lot of issues with drug use and eating disorders and just questionable friends. So I just loved her story and just loved her videos, and she had a Patreon, so I subscribed to her Patreon a while ago. I've stopped since, but I want to subscribe again, and I just want to read this one by her. It is narrated by Kat Marnell, the author. I've heard bad things about her narration, that they feel like she screams a lot in it, but the rawer the better because she just has such, like, she's so passionate about what she does. And this one follows her traveling and just her like year off. I'm pretty sure it was a year or like a couple years or like a couple months or something, but it just follows her time off. The next three are part of a series that I read the first one, but I haven't read the other three because I've owned two of them, but I didn't have the last one. But these are seasonal. So I read Lovelight Farms in winter. I have In the Weeds. This is by BK Boris, and this is a Lovelight series. I have three independent ones. The first three are independently published, and then the last one I have the traditionally published one. But In the Weeds is during the spring, and it follows one of these is during the spring, and this one is the spring one, I'm pretty sure. And then Mixed Signals is the summer one. And Business Casual, as you can see the difference of these, it's the writing, and this one is a little bit less intense colored as the traditionally published one, but this one is for the fall. So I want to get to all of these. It's winter now, so I want to read the next one in spring, then summer, then fall, and just be through with the series after that. So I can go ahead and read the other two that the author is publishing next year. Another one I don't have with me that I've wanted to read for a while, because I say that about a lot of these. I'm sorry if I keep repeating myself, like for the intros of the books. But it was a couple years ago I got an email from the publisher of this company. It was like just whoever just signed up for like their email, their newsletter, and it was like, let's recommend you a book. And I got some recommendations, personalized recommendations for my husband, and this is called True Biz. I'm not sure who it's by because I don't have the book with me, but I'll leave a picture here. This is True Biz. It follows like the deaf community, like a deaf girl, I think. I'm pretty sure. And like her struggles with that. And it's a coming of age, which I put like Catcher in the Rye for this, and they said True Biz was similar, which I don't know how accurate that is, but coming of age story, I can see that. And it's like a narrative, so hopefully it will please me and my husband with what the book is like. This one I started this one when I went to Florida in August, but I never finished it because I left Florida and I didn't want to read it while it was fall here. So I'm gonna bring this back on vacation later next year. Not later, it's still early in the year, but it's like a couple months into the year. But it's called Brutes by Diz Tate. This is such a good book already. I already want to annotate it. I haven't. I've dog-eared it. Don't come for me, please. I dog ear when I don't have annotation supplies, which is rarely because I'm never at home when I read really. And if I am at home reading, then I usually don't want to annotate, but yeah, I dog-eared. I will show you the atrocity right here. Yeah. But this one follows some friends. This is the Virgin Suicides meets The Florida Project. Loved The Florida Project, which is a movie, and I've never read The Virgin Suicides, but I want to. But it just follows some friends in Falls Landing, Florida. The horrors and joys of girlhood. It's a girlhood book, and I love those types of stories. Now we only have a few more books now, which one of them is Macbeth by Shakespeare. Don't know what it's about. No, I want to read it. Love Shakespeare. One I bought this year is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. I always think it's Steinbeck, but it's Steinbeck. I know kind of the ending of this book, but I want to hurry up and read it. It is, let's see how many pages. 107 pages. I can knock this out in a day. The text is pretty middle. Like it's not large and it's not, see, it's not very large, but it's not small, but the book is very tiny. Like it's like it's like the size of my head, which compared to this book, it's a lot shorter than that one. And compared to a hardback, it's a lot shorter than that one. And it's also very small. Like it's tiny. So I just want to read this one because I don't want to get spoiled for me. So we're on to the final 3 books. Another one is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. I went to the signing for this because since V.E. Schwab was my favorite author, I thought, well, might I see her on her next tour, which was accurate. She's not coming near me. So I went to this one because I also love the Shades of Magic series, and this is like a continuation. It's another trilogy. You can read this one like without reading Shades of Magic. You will get spoilers, but you don't have to. It's like it's like a continuation without being a direct continuation. Then The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. He just came out with the sequel to this, and I want to hurry up and read this one so I can go ahead and buy the sequel. I think I'm going to change this one for a hardback because all of his other books I have are hardback and this is the only paperback I have. So I think I want to own them all in hardback, which I know is such a silly thing because like I already paid money for this. This was thrifted, so it's not like I spent like the full price on it, and I'll just sell this one. And the 25th book that I want to read in 2025 is The Faceless Old Woman Who Secretly Lives in Your Home by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranor. This is a Welcome to Night Vale book, which Welcome to Night Vale is a podcast that I really enjoy. I haven't finished it. Listened up to like 2:14, but then I just kind of stopped after that. But this follows a character in it, and this is the 3rd Welcome to Night Vale. The first 2 are Welcome to Night Vale and It Devours, which follow this podcast. And I want to get to this one because it's been years since it came out. Let's see. My cat is having fun. This came out in 2020. It's been almost 5 years and I haven't read it, and I need to. So yeah, so these are the 25 books I want to read in 2025. Let me know what your top book or top 3, any amount of books that you want to read in 2025, what they are in the comments below, and leave a skull emoji for that. And with that, I will see you in my next video. Bye.